Good morning, everyone. It's Clay Jenkinson. I'm out listening to America. I'm still in Ennis, Montana. It's the 2nd of August. Yesterday was William Clark's birthday, so I'm out here in the Lewis and Clark world. All these coincidences are beginning to gel. It was William Clark's birthday. He was born in 1770. On his birthday, he used to say, so I had the men bring me a fat saddle of venison, in other words, the prime cut from the back of the deer. He was perfectly happy to indulge himself this way. If they'd had angel food confetti cake, he would have had that too. Candles, sure, why not? Clark liked life in a way that, Lewis was like, oh, it's just a birthday. It's an arbitrary thing. I mean, your mother didn't choose that you were born that day. You just happened to be born. Now, why would we celebrate that? Let's talk about achievement. Let's talk about the geopolitical consequences of the Louisiana Purchase. And Clark's like, hey, how about some venison roast? Can you have some venison roast? You gotta love Clark for that. But I did not know until I was told that August 1st is also the birthday of Jerry Garcia of the Grateful Dead. No, he was not on the Lewis and Clark expedition, although that would have been pretty interesting. Trucking, they could have had a great time. Some little guitar riffs, Pierre Cruzat on the fiddle, Jerry Garcia on the guitar. The music wall, or whatever that wall was, speakers, put that up around the camp, that'll drive the Lakota away if they should try. All right, so then last night, we went to this restaurant with some really special friends here in Ennis, Montana on the Madison River. And because it was Clark's birthday, I checked the menu. And I said, I'm going to order whatever venison is here. Then it turns out they had smoked elk ravioli. So normally I would not order elk, but if you're going to order game, elk's your meat. So I ordered the elk ravioli. And I can say this, that if you didn't know that it was elk ravioli, you would just think that it's what's known as ravioli. Ravioli is kind of like the most deceptive of the pastas, I'm going to have the lobster ravioli. And you know how much lobster they put in lobster ravioli? If it's even lobster and not mock lobster. You take some tiny little thing that's the size of a pea and put it in a ravioli. So, look at this, smoked elk. There was no sign of a quadruped. There was no hoof. There was no, elk antlers. There was no elk taste. There was no elk peltry. Just these lovely little noodlettes filled with something, a kind of a dark sauce, and then something they called elk. If I'd known that it was Jerry Garcia's birthday, I would have gone to the convenience store and found some Cherry Garcia, my favorite and my daughter's favorite ice cream. I will do that tonight. So that's one coincidence right there. Jerry Garcia, William Clark, fat saddle of venison, in other words, elk ravioli. I'm sure they had elk ravioli on the Lewis and Clark Trail. What's for dinner tonight, Charmin? Yeah, I think it's going to be elk ravioli. Yeah, tonight with a slight raspberry reduction. Yeah, great. And the restaurant we went to in Ennis was next to a bowling alley. It was very busy, so between courses, we bowled a few lines. That is rural efficiency, and it turned out it was good. We were with good people. Our server was great, and everybody else got their wedge salad or their chicken. One man had lasagna, another had meatballs. A friend of mine had fish and chips. But because I'm locked into this Lewis and Clark thing, elk ravioli, I felt very William Clark, I can tell you that. Today, the 2nd of August, is the day in 1805 when Meriwether Lewis, for the first time, walked across the Missouri River. It had been at it since May 14th, 1804. If not August 2nd, 1805. They've gone about 3,000 river miles. And Lewis says, today, August 2nd, 1805, if you know the other side, odd. Today, August 2nd, 1805, I walked across the Missouri River for the first time. And I, with the help of some local experts, I have figured out where that is. And I will have an ambulance standing by. And I am going to walk, theoretically, across the Missouri River. All in the name of history. That's it. So, Jerry Garcia before dark. If I live, walk across the Missouri River. What could go wrong?